I'm going to hand the word over to you, Andre.
Great, thanks, Merit. So yes, hello everyone. Now it's the topic around reporting and analytics. Well, just a quick presentation. My name is André Fonseca. I live in Porto, Portugal. I've been working with SAP Business Intelligence solutions for over 5 years now, and focusing more on SuccessFactors reporting and analytics since 2019. I'm very happy to be here, and well, today we will see the release features for reporting and analytics. To follow more or less the same logic as the other presentations, we will see the most important topics first, then other release features. We will see one deep dive topic and the roadmap at the end. Well, while I'm presenting, if you have questions or anything, please upload it on the chat so we can remember, and then Kim, we can go through the questions if there are some. Okay, starting with the most important topics. Well, this release is introducing optimized story experience, which it has two features. First feature, it's what you see on the screen right now, is optimized design experience for story reports. And the second feature, which we'll show in the next slide, is the optimized view mode. Now, first, when we talk about optimized design experience, it's for, as the name says, when you are designing your report, when you are editing or creating a new report, you will have a new layout, a new features that you can use to build your report. Keep in mind that this optimized designed experience is still not available, neither in preview or production instances. Due to technical problems, SAP has postponed it to be available in June 2nd, both in preview and in production environments. Well, it has some capabilities. So you'll have one single screen where it collapses all the components that your story has. Not going into much details. I didn't have the chance to see it myself. But one important thing is that if you use the optimized design experience and the optimized view mode, the Explorer mode will be replaced by the data analyzer. So basically, once you have the optimized view mode and the optimized designer experience mode, the Explorer will be replaced by the data analyzer. One important thing to keep in mind is this will only apply when you create new reports. So once this feature becomes available, when you create a new story report, you will have this new optimized design experience. For existing reports, or even if you import a report that was built using the classic mode of the designer, it will still use the classic mode of the designer. So keep this in mind. And this optimized view mode will be come hand in hand with the optimized view mode, which is the next topic in here. Right now, if you go to an existing story, you can already enable the optimized view mode. It has some advantages, both in terms of performance. It loads the report faster. The widgets, they have a faster loading time. It has other interesting features such as ghost loading, which I don't know if you already are using story reports, but sometimes when you are loading one story, you would see the components loading with like 3 little dots that sometimes are not so visible. So sometimes it might seem that the story has broken or stopped working, when in fact it's still loading. With the new optimized view mode, you will have a ghost mode that you will see like, let's say, a shadow of the chart that indicates that the chart is loading. So it's easier for us to understand when it's loading. And another features that come along with the optimized view mode. The tooltip will be, so when you hover over a chart, it shows more information about the data point that you are hovering over. It used to appear on the top right corner of the chart. Now it will appear next to your mouse button, which is clearly much better to read. Some more enhancements such as the filters. If you used story filters or page filters, when you on the drop down opened, sometimes it was difficult to read because it was very small. Now they have enlarged the drop down, so it's easier for us to find the members when we are filtering. So there are a lot of good features that come in here, but there are also some limitations. Some of the components are not compatible with the optimized view mode. For example, if you have grid pages, they are not available in the optimized view mode. So you won't be able to transform that report into this new optimized view mode. You would need to recreate the grid page in a canvas page, and then you could potentially enhance the story to use optimized view mode. And also some other topics, but we'll see some screenshots in here. So optimized view mode, you can already use it. How can you enhance your stories to optimize view mode? One piece of advice: before you go there and enable the optimized view mode, please create a duplicate of your story, because as I said, some of the features might not be supported in the optimized view mode, so you could potentially break your story. So keep a backup. So duplicate your story and then go either in the little disk to save, and you have this option below, which is enable optimized view mode. Once you click here, it will only apply to your story once you save it. You see this information here. Once you save the story, then it will automatically upgrade your story to the new optimized view mode. You see, you have this information that is the story is upgrading, let's say like that. You have a warning message saying that some of the components that you have are not compatible with the optimized view mode. It says here what are the components, and then you can go there and fix them. What is the fix? Basically, if you had Explorer available in some of your widgets, you just need to replace the Explorer to the data analyzer. Here we go. And if you have tables that don't have the optimized presentation tick on, you need to go there and put them on, and then only then it will be available in optimized view mode. Then the next time you run the story, or the first time you run the story, it will give you the information that the optimized view mode is on for this story, and you can click on this option here to not show anymore this information. Good. So far, any questions either in the audience or in online? Or we are all good?
I do not see any coming through online.
Okay, good.
Nothing from the room.
Great, thanks, Merit. Now coming to the other release feature. We will start with stories, and then we'll go to workforce analytics features, and then you will see one feature that's related more to ad hoc or table reports. Still in stories, we will have finally have a new LMS story template. You know, SAP standard templates, we have around 60 more or less available. We will have one more, which is related to learning management system. It's still not available. They had some technical issues, but in theory, it should be available as of the next production release, so 2nd of June. But I haven't seen no confirmation on that. that's what I'm hoping for, that we will have this new template available once the release is available in production instances. What this will do is that it will ramp up your reports in LMS data, because you will have now a template that you can either use directly if you want, or you can use it as a template and customize it as you want, which will hopefully provide better insights around your learning data in the system. Still in story reports, and Lars Solli has touched this topic a little bit in his presentation. Career worksheet data from career development planning module is now limited to target population. Before it was not. So whoever was running a report using this data set, it would see all the data. Now it has more security. It is more. It follows the target population that the users that are running the story have. Bear in mind that for stories, there are some specific permissions that need to be set, some module specific, and in this specific case, you would need to have permission, which is data access story under career development planning category of the role-based permissions. And then obviously it will start following the target population setup for you. New feature in stories as well, and it's the where we will see in every release, and even without having the release, we will see much improvements in stories. SAP is investing in and really upgrading this tool in a way that it's more stable and we can use it better. So we will see more enhancements, hopefully more enhancements and more performance advantages and more capabilities coming up. So this new one is that we can report now on the opportunity marketplace. It's generally available, it's automatically on. We don't need to, there's nothing we need to do specifically to make this available. But now you can report on assignment co-owners, process start date, process end date, and you have more insights around opportunity marketplace. Another data available in story reports, it's dynamic teams. It was already also touched by my colleagues in the previous presentations. But as you can see now, we will have dynamic teams data available in story reports. Again, it's automatically available. And you can now report on dynamic teams. And use this use story reports to track the status of this stream of work in the system. Let's call it like that. So basically, SAP is as the premise for stories is to have a unified data model that you would potentially use to report on every single data that exists in SuccessFactors. So SAP is keeping their promise. When we have new features in SuccessFactors in new kinds of data, they are reportable in stories more and more and more. And another one still related to report stories, and Merle has already spoken about it a little bit, is the reporting of time events, clock in and clock out. So for customers who have time tracking available and use the clock in, clock out systems, you can now report on those entries. Being that you can report on the entry and exit time of the employee, and you can even report it on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, on a day-by-day basis. And you can also report on the location if it was if the clock in, clock out was made on a manually made on a terminal, via web, via mobile. So a lot of new information and really good enhancement on time management reports that we can do with stories. We had in the one of the last release, we had the day-by-day daily absences available in stories, and now we have the time events which will allow us to accurately report on clock in, clock out times, and obviously associate with maybe job information data or personal information, so we can build our reports as we need and as we want. So this ends the part for report stories, and now I'm getting Tim back to you. Any questions, either in online or at the audience? Any feature or topic that was not quite clear that was spoken so far, or are we good to go?
I think we're good to go, at least on this side. I don't see anything coming through.
Okay. So now we'll start talking about enhancements or release items around workforce analytics. And the first one is the optimized loading time for workforce analytics reports. So basically, workforce analytics, it uses Canvas reports as the interface for reporting. And as up until now, when you opened a workforce analytics report, the page would only show anything after all the components in the page are loaded, which means that you would need to wait longer until you see anything in the screen. Right now, each component in the page will load in parallel, and they will start appearing as they are ready to be viewed. Obviously, the most complex components will open later. The most simple components will open first. But in general, it gives you the let's say, loads faster and gives you the impression that the tool is actually easier to maneuver and easier to see. Next one. Deprecation of direct URL for workforce analytics on SQL. So as you might know, we have two versions of workforce analytics tool. We have workforce analytics on SQL, which is the classic one, and we have the workforce analytics on HANA. This release feature or deprecation is only applied to workforce analytics on SQL. I don't think much customers use workforce analytics on SQL, but until now you could access workforce analytics using a direct URL, so not through SuccessFactors, because workforce analytics is an external application integrated into SuccessFactors, and you could potentially log in directly into the application and not having to go through SuccessFactors. As of now, as of June the 2nd, it will end the new development on this particular feature, and in November it will be deleted, which means that in order to access workforce analytics on SQL, users need to go through SuccessFactors, log in through SuccessFactors, then using the drop-down menu, they can jump into workforce analytics and use the tool. Still around workforce analytics on SQL. Now we can access the preview instance of workforce analytics on SQL through SuccessFactors, not needing to have a direct access to that instance. So basically, you need to log into SuccessFactors and authenticate using your user ID and password. And then you can open in the same browser the URL for the preview instance, and you don't need to provide the login details again. It will log in through to the preview instance of workforce analytics on SQL. Okay. Now, interesting feature here is Workforce Analytics Connector in SAP Analytics Cloud supports new model. So SAP Analytics Cloud is a standalone SAP business intelligence planning and predictive tool that allows us to report and analyze data from various different data sources, including SuccessFactors. And that tool has two ways of creating the data models in it. And now the new model on SAC, on SAP Analytics Cloud, supports, or the other way around, the new connector that is now released supports data imports into the new model feature in SAP Analytics Cloud. As you can see here in the screen, it's a relevant SAP Analytics Cloud. It's a relevant tool to use if you are hoping to combine your HR data that sits on SuccessFactors, including workforce analytics data, which gives you the trends around your hires and terminations and various other KPIs, and allows you to combine with sales data or finance data or other data that you have in other applications. All of them can be combined in a single reporting and analytics tool, which is SAP Analytics Cloud. Running time, okay. So here is an example of a dashboard where you can actually use your workforce analytics data in SAP Analytics Cloud, combine it in different ways with different data sets, sales, finance, other parts of the company, and really build powerful and meaningful dashboards on it. Still in workforce analytics, we have this feature, which is direct booking notes for workforce analytics on HANA structural dimensions. Until now, when we had a hierarchical dimension and we had the data underlying that hierarchical dimension, not sitting in the last member of the hierarchy, but sitting in the middle. For example, let's say if you have a manager hierarchy, you can have multiple levels until you reach the final part of the hierarchy, or you can have other part of the hierarchy where you have only 2 levels and then no more levels down. The way workforce analytics works is that the users that sit in the middle of the hierarchy could potentially create this inconsistency of results. And now we have the ability to artificially create leaf nodes for structural dimensions, which will provide the accurate values by placing those mid-level hierarchy members in one leaf member that is automatically created. And last one, it's more related to table reports. In table reports, ad hoc reports, or we have one part that is component pay component group sums. That information for ad hoc reports is generally populated with data by a job that runs every day, if it's set up like that. But now you can actually use the job scheduler to schedule this job in the UI. No need to go through provisioning. So for the sake of time, deep dive topic, I will talk about the data analyzer. You remember that on the optimized view mode, we will no longer have the explorer in stories. We will have the data analyzer. So how can we use it? You need to enable the data analyzer in one chart, and then you go on the more actions, you can access data analyzer. It will jump into this table view that will automatically show the underlying data that you have on this chart. And then you can use the right side panel to apply filters, add new members, add new dimensions, remove, apply ranks, sorts, all sorts of stuff, and actually create more insights on the data to really analyze what's happening in the data that you have in your data set. And last but not least, not a SAP release, but let's call it an EP release, we have our data quality insights, very useful report that can be used to assess the data quality. You can actually see if there are missing data in the system, and if there are, you can actually see where it is missing, which employee does not have a company or which employee does not have date of birth. We have created this report, and so if you find it of interest, please reach out to us. And finally, for the roadmap, it doesn't seem to have much going on, but we know that it actually has. SAP is actually investing much in improving the stability of the tool and the performance. And in next releases, we will potentially have the live connector to SAC, which is good. And it's planned for 2024 to be able to schedule report stories and to use analytics everywhere, which is embedded cards, but we'll move to more advanced times. Okay, so that's the end.